Ladies and gentlemen, today we explore a powerful truth: freedom from the self. We often think of freedom as a physical state, freedom to do what we wish, to go where we desire, to speak our minds. But the deepest form of freedom, the most profound liberation, is freedom from the constant chatter of the mind, from the identification with the self. The mind, with its constant stream of thoughts, is a source of great noise and distraction. We often mistake this continuous mental chatter for who we are, identifying ourselves with the thoughts, the emotions, and the stories that arise within us. This identification with the mind keeps us trapped in a cycle of thinking, judging, and reacting, which can lead to unnecessary stress, confusion, and a sense of being lost. However, what we often fail to realize is that the thoughts we experience are not who we truly are. They are merely passing phenomena, like clouds floating across the sky, temporary and ever-changing. The truth is that the mind is a tool, not our identity. It's something that serves us when we use it consciously, but it can become a master of our lives if we allow it to control us. Most of the time, we are unaware of the mind's constant influence. We let our thoughts dictate our emotions, our decisions, and our sense of self-worth. We attach ourselves to every passing thought, believing that it is an accurate reflection of reality, when in fact it is just an illusion, a projection of our past experiences, fears, and desires. The key to freedom from the self lies in realizing that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go, but the awareness that notices them is constant. When you become aware of this distinction between the thoughts that arise and the awareness that observes them, you begin to reclaim your true self. You no longer define yourself by the narrative the mind spins for you. Instead, you begin to see that you are the observer of those thoughts, the stillness behind the noise. This realization is the first step toward liberation from the self, and it opens the door to a life of true peace and presence. The present moment is all that truly exists. The past is a memory, a series of images and sensations that no longer have substance, while the future is simply a projection, an unknown that hasn't yet come into being. Yet, so many of us live as though we are prisoners of these non-existent realities, constantly dwelling on what has happened or worrying about what might happen. We lose touch with the only thing that is real, the now, the present moment. This is where life truly unfolds, yet most of us bypass it in pursuit of some distant future or buried in the regrets of the past. When we focus our attention on the present, we begin to experience life in its fullness. In this moment, there is no need for regret or anticipation, because everything we need is right here, right now. The present moment is where we encounter peace, clarity, and the sense of being fully alive. The mind often drags us away from this, creating a whirlwind of thoughts that pull us in different directions. But the more we anchor ourselves in the present, the less control the mind has over us. We begin to notice the richness of the experience that exists when we are simply present: the breath in our lungs, the sensations of the body, the subtle sounds around us. These simple things hold more beauty and depth than any thought can provide. By embracing the present moment, we release ourselves from the constant anxiety of what might happen and the weight of what has already passed. We stop living in the future or the past and start living in the only time that truly matters: the present. In this space, we find freedom because we are no longer bound by time or the expectations placed on us by the mind. We simply are, and in that being, we are free. When we constantly identify with the self, our roles, our labels, our personal history, we confine ourselves to a limited identity. The self we cling to is often built upon past experiences, social expectations, and external validation. We define ourselves by our successes, failures, relationships, or career status, and in doing so, we create boundaries that restrict our true potential. The more we attach to these labels, the more we entrench ourselves in a fixed identity, and the less we are able to experience life as it truly is: vast, ever-changing, and full of possibility. The self, as we know it, is a construct of the mind. It is made up of thoughts, memories, desires, and beliefs that we have accumulated over time. But this constructed self is not your true essence. It is simply an image or a story that you've created in an attempt to make sense of who you are. The problem arises when we forget that this image is just that, an image. We begin to believe that we are the roles we play, the things we've achieved, or the mistakes we've made. In reality, the self is just a fleeting concept, something that changes moment by moment. When we stop clinging so tightly to this false identity, we begin to experience true freedom. We realize that beneath the surface of the self lies an expansive awareness, untouched by the ups and downs of life. This awareness is not limited by time, by successes, or by failures. It is vast, limitless, and constantly present. The more we let go of our attachment to the self, the more we experience life in its fullness. We stop defining ourselves by past experiences or future expectations, and we start living as the pure awareness we truly are: free, limitless, and unbounded. Non-attachment is one of the most liberating practices we can adopt in life. It does not mean indifference or detachment from life, but rather a deep understanding that true freedom comes from letting go of our attachment to outcomes, objects, and even emotions. When we are attached to something, whether it's a person, a possession, an outcome, or an idea, we become dependent on that thing for our sense of happiness or security. This attachment creates a constant undercurrent of anxiety and fear, because we know deep down that nothing in life is permanent or guaranteed. The more we attach, the more we risk being crushed when change inevitably comes. Attachment to external things, whether material, emotional, or even intellectual, keeps us trapped in a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. We believe that if we can just achieve this goal, acquire that thing, or become this person, then we will be happy. But the truth is, attachment does not bring peace. It only brings a fleeting sense of satisfaction followed by a craving for more. This cycle perpetuates itself because we are never fully fulfilled by what we have, and we are constantly looking for something else to complete us. When we practice non-attachment, we learn to embrace life as it is without clinging to any particular result. We engage with the world fully, but without the need for it to meet our expectations. This doesn't mean we stop pursuing goals or enjoying life's pleasures. Rather, it means we no longer rely on these things to define our worth or happiness. We can experience joy and satisfaction in the present moment, regardless of the outcomes. Non-attachment allows us to flow with life, unshaken by the shifting tides of success and failure, gain and loss. It is the freedom to live fully without the burden of needing to possess or control anything. Commitment is the silent force that drives lasting transformation. It is the unwavering decision to stay the course even when the road gets tough, and the ability to persevere when faced with adversity. Without commitment, our goals remain distant dreams, easily abandoned at the first sign of challenge. True transformation doesn't happen overnight or by merely wishing for change. It happens when we commit to the process day after day despite the obstacles that inevitably arise. Commitment is not simply a one-time declaration, it's a continuous, active decision to align our actions with our intentions. When we commit to something, whether it's a personal goal, a project, or a vision for our lives, we set ourselves on a path that requires effort, discipline, and resilience. But commitment isn't just about working hard, it's about being consistent in our actions, regardless of how we feel in any given moment. There will always be days when motivation wanes or when distractions arise, but commitment ensures that we remain steadfast in our pursuit, even when the excitement of starting something new fades. One of the greatest benefits of commitment is its ability to cultivate resilience. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to give up when things don't go as planned. However, commitment teaches us that failure is not a dead end, but a lesson, a necessary step on the journey. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to improve. With each failure, commitment strengthens our resolve to keep going, no matter how difficult the path may seem. True commitment also involves patience. It's understanding that change takes time and that progress may be slow at first. It requires trusting the process and having faith that every small step is leading us closer to our goal. With commitment, we transform not only our external circumstances but also ourselves, becoming stronger, more focused, and more aligned with our true potential. Believing in yourself is the most fundamental step toward unlocking your true potential. Without self-belief, every goal, every dream, and every aspiration remains distant and unreachable. The world may offer opportunities, but if you do not believe in your ability to seize them, they will slip through your fingers. The greatest obstacle we often face isn't external circumstances, but the self-doubt and limiting beliefs we carry within us. These doubts create invisible barriers that prevent us from taking risks, trying new things, and stepping outside of our comfort zones. When you believe in yourself, you tap into an innate power that goes beyond what you currently know. Self-belief isn't about having all the answers or being perfect. It's about trusting that you have the capacity to learn, adapt, and grow. It's about knowing that no matter the challenges or setbacks you face, you have the inner strength to overcome them. Self-belief empowers you to take the first step even when the path ahead is unclear, because you trust that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. One of the most powerful aspects of self-belief is the courage it brings. When you believe in yourself, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop looking for permission to pursue your dreams, and instead you step into your own power. You begin to trust your own instincts and your own judgment. This self-trust allows you to navigate life's uncertainties with confidence, knowing that you are not dependent on external circumstances to define your worth or success. Belief in yourself also gives you the resilience to push through difficult times. Everyone encounters obstacles. It's not the challenges that define us, but how we respond to them. Self-belief ensures that we don't give up in the face of adversity but continue to move forward, knowing that we have what it takes to succeed. When you believe in yourself, you open the door to endless possibilities and the courage to embrace them. In embracing the freedom from the self, we unlock a life of profound peace and endless possibility. By stepping away from the constant identification with our thoughts, we awaken to the present moment, the only reality where true fulfillment resides. When we release attachment to the roles and labels the mind constructs, we connect to something far greater than the self, the vast, boundless awareness that exists beyond thought. Through commitment, we transform intention into reality, refusing to be swayed by doubt or fear. And when we believe in ourselves, we access an inner power that propels us forward, undeterred by obstacles. The journey of self-liberation is not about avoiding challenges, but about becoming resilient in the face of them, knowing that our true nature is limitless. The power to transform your life begins within, and it starts with the decision to embrace who you truly are: free, present, and capable of achieving anything.